Our next topic, though, is we're going to stay in the NFL, but the other big news from the NFL this week was the big trade of Jared Goff to the Rams, and of course, Jared Goff to the Lions, and of course, the Rams are trying to acquire Matt Stafford to try to elevate their team level even more for the upcoming 2021 season. So we'll get into the particulars, I'm sure, during this discussion. But Brandon, what did you think of the trade?
I was shocked, to be honest. I was shocked that the Rams were willing to move on from Jared Goff so quickly. You know, a quarterback that had gotten him almost to the big game a couple of times, to be honest, with the roster that they had. But it kind of reminds me of kind of what they did to Todd Gurley, too. Honestly, one of the best running backs in the game, and they were just quick to move on from him as well. And it could be from contract negotiations, maybe future contract negotiations, or it could just be that they just don't think that those two players are the right fit for what Sean McVay needs to go ahead and win the big game. But I was still shocked by the trade, and like I said, shocked that they were willing to move on from a young quarterback so quickly. And especially, you know, McVay is supposed to be that offensive guru. You would think he'd be willing to kind of manipulate and develop a young quarterback, but it seems like he just wants to win now and wants that chance to win now. And Matt Stafford obviously is a great quarterback, has never had a chance to really play on a great team. Only other great players he had a real chance to play with was Calvin Johnson, and Calvin Johnson said, "This team sucks. I'm out of here." So it's like and then it was Stafford left by himself, and then there was one, and then Stafford had to go through some bad years there, and that's another thing too. I mean, I think, you know, one of the funny things I seen on Twitter was it was a joke of being like Barry Sanders and Calvin Johnson looking at the Lions saying, "How are you going to let this guy walk when you wouldn't let us walk after all these years and after everything we did?" And I think that's a valid argument, honestly. And it shows the two different worlds of that we live in and the two different worlds of the NFL, because it's the same situation, honestly. And the fact that they're willing to let Stafford go, but they wouldn't do it for Calvin Johnson or Barry Sanders is just absolutely absurd. Barry Sanders is a better player than both of those, by the way. And Calvin Johnson's better than Stafford, by the way. But yeah, I mean, I'm just shocked by this trade. I think it sets the tone for Deshaun Watson, obviously, and we'll talk about that going forward. But I think that's kind of the bigger story here is how it kind of sets the waters for the other quarterbacks that are going to be going on the market.
Yeah. I think this was actually the right move for the Rams. You know, the biggest thing about Goff and Gurley, like you mentioned, was their contracts. And I think the mistake the Rams made was they just gave them too big of deals, not because they didn't deserve the money. I actually think Goff's a decent quarterback. Gurley, when healthy, is one of the best running backs in the league. He just hasn't been healthy, and who knows if his knee's ever going to be totally right. But they gave him too much money, and then that really tied them up too much. So they gave away Goff's contract. That was one of the biggest reasons they had to give up 2 first-round picks for Stafford, was not only to get Stafford, but also to give up the big money that Goff's making. The upcoming season, they're actually going to be paying, I believe, something like just over $42 million for Stafford and for the dead money that Goff is going to have on the salary cap for the Rams. But then that's obviously going to come down the following year because some of Goff's dead cap money comes down off the salary cap. But, you know, everybody's saying they gave up too much with the 2 picks, and I get it. I always love first-round draft picks, so normally I would say no. The Rams have to win in the next 2 or 3 years. With the guys they have on their team, with Aaron Donald, Jalen Ramsey, Robert Woods, and Cooper Kupp, their 2 starting receivers are locked. All those guys are locked up in big deals for the next couple of years. You got to win with those guys over the next couple of years, and they clearly didn't think Goff could do that. This is their next best option. Now, get Matt Stafford, who's been in a place where he hasn't been able to win. The team has been rough. The organization has been terrible over the past few years. Matt Patricia certainly didn't help any things. We know a little bit about him in New England. We're not huge fans of him right now, but you know, they absolutely did the right thing. They had to make this deal. If it doesn't work, then some couple of guys named Sean McVay and Les Snead that could be out of a job in LA in a couple of years. But I think that they are going to be very competitive, if not Super Bowl contenders over the next couple of years, and we'll see what Stafford can do. I know some of the things that McVay was frustrated with Goff was they can design offenses and plays all they want, but when things break down, Goff can't really do anything else outside of the actual system of the play. Whereas Stafford, and obviously we just talked about Brady and Mahomes, when things break down, they can move to their third, fourth options and make things up on the fly and almost run the offense themselves. Goff couldn't do that. And I think that's where McVay really wanted to move on from Goff, after the last couple of seasons.
Well, here's the thing. I think the price was right, to be honest. I think the price was right because Stafford's a franchise quarterback. You don't have many of those lying around in the NFL or even on the sideline, or else teams would want him. Hey, the Patriots want one right now. So it's one of those things where I think the price was right, especially for a franchise quarterback. Stafford has got an amazing arm. That guy has got a cannon. He can still make every throw in the NFL that you need. Honestly, before Patrick Mahomes came in the game, Matt Stafford was the guy that was making those amazing throws and those sidearm throws that were like wowing you on the top tens. So I think this guy, the price was right. I think that the Rams definitely had to move on him now to try to win now, and that's the mentality, and we're seeing that. So 2 first-round draft picks aren't going to help you win now. A franchise quarterback will. So I think the price was right. And then I'd quickly like to just say, I've been saying it since the draft that Jared Goff was always better than Carson Wentz. And Carson Wentz was just trash coming out of a small school, playing in small divisions against other small schools. He looked good. Jared Goff playing in a big Power 5 school, playing in an NFL-style offense, he was always the pick that I thought, from day one. And I think this even still proves it. I think he's going to go to Detroit. I think he'll still be able to carry on his career. I'm just telling him, hey, Jared, if you're watching this, I hope you are. If you are, hit the subscribe button like everybody else. But I don't think you're going to win anything in Detroit.
And follow us on Twitter too, Jared. Yeah. No, I think Goff can still develop. I think he still has time to become a better quarterback. Detroit's got to get somebody. Actually, the Detroit offensive coordinator, I believe, worked with Goff a good amount in LA, if I'm not mistaken, or at the time they weren't in LA. But I think the offensive coordinator for the Lions has worked with Goff in the past on the Rams staff. So I think that's going to help him as well. So we'll see what happens there. And I think, but like we've been saying, I think Stafford is a good fit for the Rams.